Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Friends. This is episode number 5, and in this episode, we are going to cover Act 5 of Chapter 1. Act 5 is very unique in that it introduces a lot of new characters in the story. Most of these characters are playable in the game right now, but some of them are not. The ones that are not, I sincerely hope they add them in the future because that's gonna be hella dope. In the last episode, we ended up putting Scar in jail and having a long conversation with Jinshi and Sanwa about the current events. We talked about the missing Sentinel Jue, the reviving of the Trinodian, and the secret Black Shores organization who have been keeping tabs on us for a while. Heeding Jinshi's advice, we decide to go speak with the Black Shores organization and find them so that we can gather some information about us and about the reviving Trinodian and maybe find a way to stop it. Act 5 begins with Yang Yang telling us a story about the last time a war took place. The war took place between a revived Trinodian, a hordes of tacit discords, and the city of Jinzhou. The city of Jinzhou was protected by the Midnight Rangers at the time, who was led by their general Geshu Lin. Geshu Lin was a very powerful individual who was heartless, and I call him Muscle Daddy because he's one heck of a character. I sincerely hope that he's playable one day because that would be kinda dope. Geshu Lin was also like a mentor to Jian, and once Geshu Lin disappeared, Jian took his place as general. During the battle, Geshu Lin sacrificed himself to the Dark Flames to obtain more power to defeat the revived Trinodian Overthrax, after which he disappeared, leaving no trace. Sentinel Jue also woke up from her deep slumber to appoint Jinshi as the new magistrate, the renowned representative of the Sentinel. Jue also appointed Jian as the new general of the Midnight Rangers, seeing his valiant efforts in leading the men in the absence of their previous general, Geshu Lin. After listening to Yang Yang's story, we decide that it's better not to go to Northfall Barrens right now. Instead, we should search for the Black Shores organization that have been tallying us. But we ran into a small problem. The Blake Bloom, that black flower which the Black Shores organization uses as an identification mark, is very rare. Nobody knows what that flower is. So, in order to find more information about this black flower, we head on out in search of the plant expert in Jinzhou City. This introduces to us the most powerful resonator available to us in the 1.0 version of the game, this overpowered plant-loving child, Verena. Despite being one of the best plant experts in this region, Verena was unable to identify what plant this flower came from, although she was able to identify that this plant might have been a rare species developed using remnant energy as it was emitting a weird frequency. But all hope's not lost, as Verena has a very unique resonance ability that lets her create plants or plant-like objects. So using that ability, she created a look-alike of the black flower based on the image that we showed her. While Chixia was flabbergasted by Verena's abilities, Yang Yang noticed a disturbance in the wind as if somebody was following us, so we decided to split up. Yang Yang and Chixia were to go back to the city with the flower to see if one of the Blackshore members would recognize them, and we were going to hide and wait for this shady person to arrive. And oh boy, did we find who that shady person was. This introduces the next important character in the story, another plant type resonator with a very weird, eccentric, and naughty personality, Camellia. Holy shit, wasn't that scene something else? I swear to God, if they make this character playable one day, my wallet is going dry. I kid you not. Anyways, back to the story. We had a rather up close and steamy introduction with this new resonator. She is also a plant type resonator, and funny enough, she is part of the Black Shores organization. A weird personality for somebody who's supposed to be a researcher. Hey, to each their own, I suppose. After talking to her, we were able to understand that she is more of a fieldwork kind of person, as in, she is mostly in charge of monitoring the Fraxidus activities, keeping track of us, etc. She was also responsible for keeping the Fraxidus away while we were having our conversation with Jinshi the night before we went into the Grand Library. So I guess we are supposed to thank her for helping us at that time? But hey, this weirdo wants to dissect us, nurture us, and study us, and God knows what. But if you guys remember, she was also available during the prologue scene in one of the ending cutscenes where she was sitting on top of a branch and she called us the fated seed. Apparently, these people know a lot of things about us which we don't know, and it'd be interesting to find out what they are. Unfortunately, she was able to break our hold and escape for the time being. Immediately after, we got a call from Yang Yang asking us to meet her at the town. Apparently, they ran into some interesting people who are part of a shady organization. After sorting out the conflict in that area, we are introduced to two more members of the Black Shores organization. Fortunately, these two are also playable characters in the current version of the game, a 4-star aero element gunslinger Alto and a 5-star fusion element child Encore. Apparently, Alto and Encore have been keeping an eye on us for a while. They needed our help to find a resonance beacon that went missing near a location in Whining Ike's Mire. Jesus, that was hard to say. In return for our help, Alto was willing to tell us the story of the Black Shores. The Black Shores is a group of extremists whose ultimate goal is to preserve the world by predicting and avoiding the lament. They do that by installing resonance beacons everywhere around the map. They collect disturbances in frequency and store them in the resonance nexus. That's why whenever we interact with the resonance nexus, it unlocks terrain data because it constantly monitors frequency of the land, monitoring for a potential lament to occur. They also monitor potential threats from the villainous Fraxidus group. They reside in a remote island they like to call Garden, and the Blake Bloom, which is their identification mark, not only serves as an identification mark but also an access key to the garden. After hearing all this, we were still kinda reluctant to help them, but then Encore showed us her cute face and we couldn't refuse. I mean, come on now, look at that cute face. After arriving at the location Alto mentioned, he tells us a story of a group of scientists who were known for performing illegal experiments. That group was known as the Court of Savant. They were popular for their illegal experiments based on automata mechanics. So basically near and to be. I'm just kidding. He takes us to the facility where these illegal experiments were being performed, but something is weird. These scientists disappeared one day out of thin air. Something weird happened and we don't know why. But once we entered the facility, it was evident what they were doing. They were performing illegal experiments to recreate the retroact rain. Time to get into some nerdy stuff. I know I've mentioned the term retroact rain in some of the previous episodes, but now let me explain what it actually is. Retroact rain is upside down rain, the rain which is flowing upwards into the etheric sea. It contains remnant frequencies from the etheric sea. What a retroact rain does is it empowers tacit discords, makes them stronger. It also creates phantoms based on memories lingering in that area. It also gets empowered based on emotional disturbances in the area. Retroact rain has 3 stages. Stage 1 is where it falls as regular rain. Stage 2, the water particles get suspended mid-air. Stage 3, the rain falls upwards. It seems that these scientists wanted to recreate the retroact rain to relive past memories with their loved ones. Seems pretty noble at first, but when you dig deeper, they actually wanted to harness the power the retroact rain possesses. They wanted to find a way to extract the power and store it and to use it for either making weapons or some other purpose. While searching for the missing resonance beacon, we come across a hologram recording of an older male guy. He says something along the lines of, "My greed and insatiable thirst derailed our research, and it was too late when I realized that my ultimate foe was time." He talks about a false gate that he found, and he entrusts his research and hopes to another person or entity in hopes that they would find the right gate for the future of everyone. To our utter shock, the entity he's talking to is someone we are very familiar with. The one who started it all, the one who we know nothing about, and the one who we want to know everything about. Finally, we find a way to the lower floor where the missing resonance beacon was. Here we find a mechanical abomination, a result of the illegal experiments conducted by these scientists based on automata mechanics. This thing apparently has swallowed our resonance beacon, and now we have to kill it to retrieve it. After a long, gruesome fight, we were able to kill it and retrieve what was rightfully ours. Alto proceeds to thank us for all that we've done, and he goes on to explain why the noble actions of the Black Shores, although sketchy at first, is very necessary to keep the balance of the world and to predict and avoid future laments. He also tells us some valuable piece of information. He tells us that this was not the first time we revived, and the last time we did was at the headquarters of the Black Shores. Yes, the remote island that they like to call Garden. But more on that later. All's well that ends well, huh? Well, not in this scenario. After completing our mission, we were expecting to bid farewell to our new, quote-unquote, comrades. But when we stepped out of the facility, we were met with utter shock. We saw rain going upwards. Yes, we are witnessing the actual retroact rain. Why is the retroact rain happening all of a sudden? Why did we see that entity as the person who was supposed to find the right gate for the future? The answers to that hopefully we can find in the next episode of Storytime with Friends. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please consider subscribing to my channel as I'll be doing a lot of Wuthering Waves content and I don't want you guys to miss out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.